Kevin Pietersen, in my book, purely as a cricket fan, is one of the world's greatest modern contemporary batsmen. He is simply outstanding, and there are reasons for it because he is aggressive, he takes the fight to the rival camp. He's always a great believer in the element of attack. Absolutely brilliant, and some of the shots he hits are breathtaking. He more or less got the switch hit, which was his own shot, ruled out of the cricket book because of the controversy involved, because he would move too early. But remove that bit, purely as a batsman, as a very high quality batsman, he's absolutely outstanding. And he's one of those rare batsmen now, rare cricketers in fact, for whom the fans would actually love to pay to see him. The England Cricket Board, according to me, has been unfair to KP. It is a bit of an extreme viewpoint, but I would like to stick with it. The reason being, look at the man's record first. Kevin Pietersen has played in over 104 tests. He has hit over 8,000 runs, 23 hundreds to his name. And again, a very important point is, as per the record books, he has achieved 5,000 test runs in the fastest possible time of 4 years and 243 days. ODIs, which is his specialty, he has played 136 ODIs and made over 4,000 runs. But then, why this clash with ECB and KP? The answer to that, as we all know, has been this controversy that he has clashed with some of the senior players in his team repeatedly. The two main clashes that he had were with Andrew Strauss, when Strauss was the captain and he texted in Afrikaans to his South African teammates, referring to Strauss in a derogatory manner. And with Cookie, he has had further run-ins. He's a difficult man. He's difficult to probably to basically temper him down. So these are issues that disciplinary issues which ECB has had. But in this case, I feel that the ECB could have handled it in a more mature way. They could have basically given KP a chance. Now, when ECB, through its former chairman, had made a couple of phone calls to KP, as KP says, the door was kept open that you can come back provided you play county cricket. KP came back, he gave up the very lucrative IPL and he came back and played a couple of matches for Surrey. His last knock was over 300 runs, which is a phenomenal record. What happens next is that KP is called by Andrew Strauss and another official to a London hotel. And he is told there in no uncertain terms that he will not play again because there are trust issues. In the same breath, Andrew Strauss makes the offer in his position as director appointed by ECB that KP can be an advisor. He can play, he can be on the advisory panel as a coach. Now, if you have a problem with a player on trust issues, how can you make a corresponding offer? Of course, Strauss had his own viewpoints, but this has left a massive debris in its wake, and this is very unsavory the way the whole situation was handled. ECB is to blame. ECB, I'm sure at some point must have had a detailed chat with KP saying that his behavior does not really dovetail into the work culture and the ethics and the ethos of English cricket. KP, by any long shot, is not truly your typical genteel player. In fact, the great Shane Warne described him as the walking ego. KP has been described as being self-obsessed, as a loner, as a man driven by records. His own brand has to shine, all of that in a team sport. But if you look at it at a larger picture, there have been many prima donnas in this sport, many big names who have, and I'm privy to some conversations because I have done a couple of cricket shows in the past. So I've had actually former very prominent test players say off the record that so-and-so a prima donna, they were self-obsessed, they played only for themselves, they didn't give a damn about the rest. Now, whether what happened or did not happen is a matter of conjecture, but I'm sure ECB would have at some point tried to work with KP, but it has not happened because there is a huge gap between the two, and as Strauss said, that there are trust issues. Now, once you use the word trust issues for a player, you basically knock him off. Very interestingly, KP evokes very strong reactions. There is nothing tepid about KP's batting, and that same point gets reflected in the reactions that have come in. Michael Vaughan, Freddie Flintoff, Geoffrey Boycott, three big names of English cricket, have all supported KP. In fact, Freddie Flintoff has said that he captained KP, and while KP was difficult, well, he had to be handled. Michael Vaughan, probably one of the finest modern contemporary test captains of England, has gone out for an all-out support to KP. Boycott has done the same. At the same time, Ian Botham has supported Strauss and said that he took absolutely the right call. Now here opinions are divided for two reasons. One is that some feel that KP's career going by his age at 34 is more or less getting over. England should be looking at a young team. England should rebuild from scratch, and that is the viewpoint of Botham. But when it comes to the other part, they say that people pay to see great players, and great players in this game, or for that matter any other game, are a rarity. So if you have a KP, let him play. KP is self-obsessed, undoubtedly. KP is a maverick. In fact, that term is used a lot for KP, that he's a maverick but a very incredibly talented player. Piers Morgan, the anchor, English anchor, has in fact called it an absolute disgrace the way ECB handled the situation. I just feel that somewhere along the line, it's a huge pity that KP may not play for England again, so we may not see him play in another test match, and what a loss that would be for the game. Well, since the Aussies are supporting the fact that KP should have played for the Poms, is a huge compliment for KP, because the Aussies, as we all know, hate the Poms, and the Poms, as we all know, are the Brits. But at the end of the day, when the Aussies support someone, it is a surefire factor that this is a key player, and the Aussies have always liked a KP who's actually more of Aussie in nature than a typical English player. And the support that has come in is incredible for KP. And with the Ashes coming up in July, now the Aussies say that half the battle is already won with KP not being there in the ranks, and so there's nothing to fear.